Alright everyone, did you watch that here? And I want to explore in more detail why I know Jon and Dany are going to get married. Now, of course, I could be wrong because we never know what's going to happen, but for me, I'm going to go ahead and call this, and I want to give my reasons for why I know this is going to take place. And I'm going to try a different format for this video and just talk, and I want to cover a number of points of why I know this is going to happen, and those are going to fall into political, strategic, or miscellaneous categories. So I hope you all enjoy. Let's go ahead and get started by setting up Jon's half of the video. So Jon has been declared the king of the north, but there's no time to consolidate. A new threat has arrived. Daenerys Targaryen has come to Westeros. She has a massive army, the support of Highgarden and Dorne, along with a large army of Unsullied and Dothraki, and don't forget, she's got 3 dragons. This is too big an event for Jon to ignore. He will know next to nothing about Dany, just that she has shown up with a large army, and that means that she intends to use it on someone. He can either fight or surrender, but neither of these options are what the North needs. Jon cannot risk another enemy for the North. His focus will need to be on the White Walkers. Fighting would be hopeless. Surrendering puts him at Dany's mercy, and she could make demands of the North's resources and manpower. And the North may already be lost. Jon must have an alliance, not just for offense against the White Walkers or to protect his people, but also for potential shelter if they're forced to flee south. This cannot be just a diplomatic alliance on paper. For all the demands Jon needs to make of Dany, he needs to seal this alliance in blood, with a marriage to ensure the North gets the proper support. Looking at the demands that Jon is going to make from Dany's point of view, it's a tough pill for her to swallow. She has an easy conquest, but suddenly she's going to be presented with a magical foe that could be a serious challenge and might even defeat her and destroy her hopes of taking the 7 kingdoms. She has no reason to risk things coming to the aid of the North, and we know she'll be engaged with the Lannisters in the South already. She can split her army, of course, but it's the same concept. She's weakening her forces and weakening her chances by doing so. She is obligated to defend her interests in the South. Jon can't take a risk that she won't believe him, or that she'll send a token force because she's more interested in holding King's Landing than Winterfell. So he has to have more than a paper alliance. He has to have her full faith and support. In addition, an alliance with Dany is just a smart political move. It's got the added benefit of helping Jon establish himself as a great leader and accomplishing things that Robb Stark failed to do, and that he cannot achieve any other way without Daenerys' help. And that is revenge for Ned Stark's death, the Red Wedding, as well as paying the Iron Islands back for their roles in the downfall of House Stark. This is a solid move, and something that would help restore the morale of the North and the Riverlands, establish Jon as an effective statesman able to work with other houses for the benefit of the North rather than its detriment. There's no southern ambitions here. He would destroy House Lannister, something every Northerner wants to see, destroy House Frey, which would also help the morale of the Riverlands and remove a powerful opponent blocking their path to the south. He would also need Daenerys' fleet to make sure that Euron Greyjoy is dealt with. With the North focused on an external threat and in their weakened state, they still make an easy target for raiding, and we know the Ironborn don't want to stop raiding at all. So this is something that would help solidify his claim as the king of the North, in case he ever needs to use it against potential, leaders like Sansa or Bran, who are true-born children of Ned Stark, or even potentially Edmure Tully, who may not want to yield the Riverlands. So finally, for Jon, a marriage to Dany helps remove him as a threat to the other Starks. Just like I mentioned just now, while I doubt we would ever see a true conflict with Sansa or Bran or Arya, they are true-born children, and Jon is a bastard. So why risk the conflict, and why not simply step away from it all? Jon can yield Winterfell to Sansa or Bran, and Sansa or Bran can rest easily knowing that they have family not in the court, but in the royal family itself. And this would help them rebuild the North when the time comes, or deal with any external threats, although if Jon can accomplish destroying House Frey, House Lannister, keep the Ironborn in check, he will have already established peace in the North for hundreds of years to come. So those are my thoughts on why Jon's going to do it. Let's talk about why Dany will do it. At first glance, Jon doesn't really seem like he has anything to offer Dany, but not quite. He's actually going to be very important to her establishing herself. Dany has shown up on Westeros' doorstep with a massive army and the intention to conquer. She will strike fear into the 7 kingdoms. She's got the stick, but now she needs a carrot. She's got to show the nobles and people of Westeros that she isn't all fire and blood. And what better way to show them than to take in the North with no bloodshed? She can swiftly establish herself as the conqueror, but also as a merciful and forgiving ruler in one stroke. This also has the added benefit of swiftly countering any propaganda used against her. If Cersei is smart, she will quickly spread rumors. We've seen her do it with Stannis against the Red Priests. She might even say something like the dragons blew up the Sept. For the Red Priests, Dany can show that she's religiously tolerant by taking in the North, a different religion than the Faith of the Seven. She can also counter the propaganda about the Sept by, not coming in and killing everyone immediately. I don't know if Cersei will say anything about the dragons and the Sept. That's a stretch, but Cersei's got to do something. She's laughably outnumbered. Bringing in the North so swiftly also has the added benefit of preventing her from extending her campaign needlessly. The North is a big place, and Dany has a large army and dragons. So no matter what, keeping them supplied is going to be a serious challenge in winter, especially with Westeros in its war-torn state. She's going to have to fight the White Walkers regardless, of course, but the longer her army is fighting, the harder it's going to be to keep it in the field, and the greater strain on the resources of the rest of Westeros it's going to be. A Westeros that's already war-torn as it is, if she wants to prevent potential political unrest and anger at a foreign army, she needs to move quickly to consolidate power. Finally, if Jon does reveal himself to be a Targaryen, Dany would want to marry him to remove him as a potential challenger to the throne. Even though Jon himself is probably not interested, he is the male heir, so he does have priority. And there's also the possibility that down the line, his children could be used against Dany's to remove her dynasty and destroy it, or they could even be seen as a threat just because. So they would both want to spare any future family from going through another dance with the dragons, as well as Dany wanting to spare her future family from going through what she went through in exile. So those are my thoughts on this potential event. What do you guys think? I hope everyone enjoyed. I just talked a bit in this video, so I'm sure I left out tons of information. Be sure to comment below because that's why I do these videos. I think they're fun to talk about different things and different branches that could potentially happen, and I hope that I make people think about things in a different light. Be sure to follow me on Twitter or Twitch for the latest information. Leave a like and subscribe for more videos. I hope to see everyone again, and I'll have more videos out with the new season very soon.